All right, guys, good morning. So, you got notification yesterday that Friday's my last day, and as promised, I said that we would do a video so that you could put a face to the name. So, this is Jennifer Baldoff. She's the new director of dual credit. And so, one of the things we kind of wanted to do was just talk a little bit about the transition, but also talk a little bit about what you've been doing for the last uh, several years at the college. And so, all right. So, what's your experience? Just talk a little bit about your experience.
Okay, I came to Angelina College about 10 years ago from Texas A&M. I worked in athletics there, and I worked in the Department of Nutrition and Food Science as an advisor there. And then I came here as an academic counselor, and I've been here for about 10 years doing that. I've been involved in everything from new student orientation to transfer fairs to a partnership program with SFA. That other duties as a sign list got really long, but my primary job has been advising students.
So, and this is something too that, and I mentioned, and this really was the case, is that when I have questions about particularly transfer and other things, Jennifer's always been my contact, my go-to. So she is the expert that I would say, let me go talk to my particularly Aggie expert because you are an Aggie. And so anyway, that's, really, we're just excited. Miss Wright and I are excited. I think the whole college is excited about just Jennifer coming on and being in this position. And so I wanted to look at a few things talk a little bit about the goals. And we discussed this some yesterday. We've been actually in contact with each other for, well, I guess almost a week. And so I wanted to talk a little about some of the goals in moving forward with dual credit program. And so just talk about some of the things that just plans that you have for that.
Okay. Now a lot of what we've talked about, Philip actually has been on the ground working on this stuff, and so he's basically handing this to me, so I can't take credit for the ideas at all. But we are looking at creating an online new student orientation specifically for dual credit students, something that they can just go online and do fairly quickly, but get most of what they need to know in order to start classes here. And that will make it a lot easier for y'all. It will be tailored to them, so it will only be stuff that they really need to know.
Oh, and I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, yeah, sorry. So we could have made this worse and made it Facebook Live. So,
Oh
but
no.
anyway, but yeah, but anyway, one of the things that in new student orientation is that got a lot of videos up, but we are wanting students to kind of go through the regular orientation of other students, but there may be some pathways. We can build a pathway in there that's particularly designed for dual credit, and that's one of the things I think you're going to be working on too. So just creating that pathway.
It will be. And one of the other things that we can do is the new student orientation has multiple things that we can do to tailor it. So we might make a path fork for the dual credit students, but also make one for their parents to help out with the questions you guys get and the questions that we get. So it's a possibility down the road that we have a new student orientation for the students, and then I can make a different one for their parents so that we can get the information on both sides.
And that's the one thing we have recognized is parents are really important in this process with dual credit students. They're the ones often that are calling, and so yeah, that's really a great idea. The next thing, which you guys were of course are familiar with, and we're actually going to work on developing a little. We talked about the college prep course development. That's something that in the past I've kind of been the contact on. You guys have contacted me on that. Jennifer will remain that, but we've talked before about some ideas that we have. So just talk a little bit about maybe what ideas we've thrown out there that we actually are, you're going to take action steps on for college prep course.
Okay. Philip's ideas, all his ideas, but I love them, and so I want to follow through on that. What he was thinking of doing was asking our instructors in developmental math and then developmental reading and writing to create a course shell on our platform called Blackboard. And basically what they would do is create the course, put the materials out there, all of the learning objectives, the exams, everything out there so that your instructors could go into the course shell and know exactly what we're teaching our developmental students here and enable your students to be able to be very comfortable going through that class and passing that final exam so that we can meet the House Bill 5 requirement. So we're going to try very hard to get that set up and make sure that we're actually giving your instructors the resources they need in order to make that class idea completely non-stressful, and also give your students who are in those classes a little bit of a tie to AC. Make it a little bit closer to home. They can start to get to know us a little bit, and it won't be such a jump once they actually get here and start taking classes from us.
And the other thing that's new initiative across the state, which you guys haven't heard of yet, well, some of you have, but that's the college pathways in the state of Texas. And one of this, it's the Texas 60 by 30. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to have to go back and edit that if I said it wrong. But Texas 60 by 30, which is just an initiative the state's launching. And so college pathways, we know you guys have endorsements at the high school side. And so we're tasked at the college side to just kind of merge those your endorsements into our pathways to kind of create pathways there. So talk, and again, we're in development stage with this, but maybe talk a little bit about that college pathway.
Okay. One of the things that's very, very close to my heart is making sure that when students come to Angelina College that they leave with exactly what they came here for and not a lot else. The endorsements coming in from high school, if your students are going to come in knowing I'm a science major and I want to transfer, maybe not where they want to go or what they want to do when they get there, but where they're strong in, what they enjoy doing, the endorsements are going to help us when they get here, or even in dual credit, even with early college, high school, no matter where your students are, it will help us make sure that we're putting them in classes that are useful to them. Because the last thing we want to do is have your students take a bunch of classes and then they transfer, those classes don't go with them, it creates issues with financial aid, it creates issues with excessive tuition. We want to avoid all of that. So Pathways, I think, will actually really help with that. And it is in development. I'm still learning about it. I've been to a couple conferences. I know Philip has too. So we're still trying to decide exactly how that will work. But what it will basically mean for y'all is that when your students come to us and they say, this is my endorsement, we will be able to use that to build them. Okay, then these are the classes you need to take from us. These are the classes that you're going to need to take from the four-year schools, because they're also involved in Pathways. So whatever pathways we set up at Angelina College, we should be matching the pathways at Stephen F. Austin. We should be matching the pathways of the other 4 years. So we're just trying to cut down on some of that. I took this class, it's not working for me, it's not going to transfer. And helping students be a little bit more intentional on what they're taking, and so that we can get them graduated, get them out there, get them working.
And I think that's something too, just making purposeful dual credit. That's the one thing that I know is going to be Jennifer's strength, because we have these conversations all the time. Have for a while about dual credit, and she and I talk about there's times, and I know that you have students that come in that want to do certain classes, and sometimes I'm like, you know what, let's hold off on that, particularly if they're wanting to be architecture major at University of Texas, something like that. Then sometimes having a ton of dual credit actually can really make it complicated for them going in. And so Pathways is really wanting to be, I think the term, kind of holistic in advising. And so that's the one thing that I know I'm really excited about, that you're going to have, is such a resource for those students that know, hey, I want to do this. That's what I've always tried to do, is help students really know this is what you want to do. Because again, sometimes people just want to jump on board and say, I want to get an associate's degree as dual credit, and that is, we know for you that are early college, that's great, but we also want to really be thoughtful in the way that we do that and design that. And so I know Jennifer is going to be great in helping to develop programs for your school district that are thoughtful, and also being able to specialize when you have a student that knows a particular pathway that they want to go. All right, so transitioning next, I think just the task that I've enjoyed so much is getting to know you guys and just being the point of contact. So I know that oftentimes I'll hear from you, all right, and you'll say, Philip, I know you may not be the person for this, but point me in the direction. And so that is the one thing that we recognize in this position. So you want to talk a little bit about just the commitment to being the point of contact for high schools, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you. I talk for a living. That's what I do. That's why I love my job. And I've been here long enough to where even if I can't solve the problem, I should know who can. And I want you to please, please, please feel free to reach out to me in any capacity, whatever you need. I really do care about this community. I'm not from Lufkin. I'm not from East Texas, but I love it here. My kids are being raised here. I care about what happens to it. And so by default, I care about what happens to all of you. And we want you to be happy with AC, and we want to be giving you everything that you need. So you're never going to bother me. You're never going to talk to me too much. I'd rather hear from you too much than too little.
And that's the one thing that Jennifer has agreed to keep in my office is that there's one thing. I have a map over here on the wall. You can probably just see the very edge of it right now. But I told her, I said, you need to keep this map because it shows all of you, my partner schools, where you're at. And, and so anyway, I don't know. I'm spatially oriented, so that's helped me. And so she did tell me that you were going to keep the map. So anyway, she's going to keep the map. So, hey, you're going to be hearing from her, just in the coming weeks. You'll get the same registration deadlines and things like that. And so she's going to be great. And so we're excited. I'm really excited about just how AC and the dual credit is going to just grow and be purposeful and really reach those students. So anything else you got to say as far as we've already sent out your contact information,
Yeah.
but anything else you got that?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to do this. It's a huge change for me, and leaving advising was really tough. I love doing it, but I'm so excited about the opportunity to work with the schools and start making a difference in our younger students. I'm learning this as fast as I can. I know I have big shoes to fill. You should hear from me next week. I'm going to try to go ahead and set that registration deadline so that you'll know what's going on and please feel free to give me feedback. If there's something that I ask or I don't ask or something that you expect and that didn't happen, please let me know because I don't have an ego. You can call me and be like, you screwed up and I'll fix it. But please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm so looking forward to getting to know you.
All right, very well. Well, thank you so much. We're excited, and so y'all stay tuned for more info to come. All right, let's see if we can stop this without causing a problem.